a lot of the funding for Cern comes from taxpayers in various Western countries. That's correct. You might have helped to finance Cern simply by paying taxes. Cern scientists have received hundreds of grants and endowments from governments all across the world, totaling hundreds of millions of dollars. While the price of Cern's annual operation is unknown, the entire machine's construction and upkeep totals billions upon billions of dollars. So where's the money coming from? The truth is that while many governments have assisted funding Cern, there have been several private donors involved as well. Cern is constantly having to raise money in order to continue operating its experiments, as they appear to be searching for the dark universe. This requires billions of dollars. Cern has a fundraising arm that collects private donations from wealthy contributors all across the world. Not unsurprisingly, Cern is heavily supported by the Rockefeller family dynasty, not just financially, but also through scientists who work for Rockefeller University, which is owned by the Rockefeller family.
Now there are a number of top 13 families. You've got Astor, Bundy, Collins, DuPont, Freeman, Kennedy, Lee, Onassis. Now Reynolds is not one of the top 13, but it's close up there. Rockefeller, Rothschild, Russell, and then you've got your 13th Illuminati bloodline, which is the Merovingian bloodline, which believes that they are descendants of Christ and descendants of Lucifer and the House of David. And you've got the Van Dyne family. So these are your top Illuminati families.
More importantly, who controls the massive amount of money transferred to Cern? The Rockefellers do. In fact, they control all of the money that is being transferred from the United States to Geneva, Switzerland. Are you surprised? You shouldn't be. A non-profit charity called the King Baudouin Foundation, which is based at 10 Rockefeller Plaza in New York City, funnels all donations to Cern that are made by private donors within the United States. The founder of this charity, King Baudouin of Belgium, was a personal friend of Nelson Rockefeller, who's the brother of David Rockefeller. It is also known that the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, which is a nonprofit charity run by David Rockefeller, contributes huge amounts of money directly to the King Baudouin Foundation, totaling millions of dollars in donations. There is an absolute connection between the money behind Cern and the Rockefeller family. We know Cern is looking for something. They have said publicly that they are looking for the dark universe, though some have doubted their claims and think that they're looking for something else.
Cern, or the Hadron Collider, it is not for the purpose of discovering the so-called God particle, but rather it is to create a collapse of alternate universes into this one, where the Illuminati have already gained control. So they are tapping in through those vortices that I mentioned to you earlier by knowing the frequencies of those alternate realities and merging them into this one. Now here's the good news. Good news is that those beings in the Kuiper Belt are sabotaging this. And that is why this Cern has shut down more times than it started up. Every time they start it up, there's a problem. It's sabotaged because the beings don't want them to do this. So many of you, many of my clients have reported to me dreams where they see themselves in another reality or a different life that is nothing like the one they have now. Or they see images of possible events that are going on. And this is a result of the residue of the Cern or Hadron Collider. By the way, did you know that the Vatican has an office in Cern? Yes, and underneath Cern, you can see here the range of the collider, and there are tunnels. I knew a nurse who works at Cern near Geneva, and she told me that there are tunnels deep underneath that no one is allowed to go in. But she knows and has been told they go all the way to France, into Italy, under the lake, and no one knows what's under there. But occasionally, she will get a patient who has come from this tunnel, one of the tunnels, with injuries that she has never seen before in her life. And when she asks what happened to them, they refuse to tell her. So there's something going on deep underneath Cern, which maybe is bringing in beings from alternate realities that may be not so nice. Now, besides the Vatican having an office at Cern, they also have an observatory in Arizona called Lucifer. You know this, yes? Yes. Why would the Vatican have an observatory called Lucifer? Very interesting, yes? Well, I'll explain to you. I also, in my many travels and connections, met a woman who worked for the Pope in the Vatican. This was Ratzinger, Pope. And she said he was a very evil man, very mean and very nasty, and that she was told that Catholicism is for the public, that they themselves in the Vatican do not believe this, that history of the Christ figure was very different than what they have told you, and that they have removed many passages from the Old and New Testament in order to cover up the truth. And of course, that's, again, a whole nother lecture, but will result in the formation of New World religion, which will include ritual and sacrifice and abuse as being common. You may not know that in 2010, on New Year's Eve, BBC4 had a show at midnight of a Catholic Chinese person eating a dead baby in the name of Christ. And this was on television. This is the type of ritual that will become commonplace in the New World religion.
Any contention that time qua time exists outside of our perceptions is antiquated. Heisenberg, among others, destroyed the model of a passive universe, which all humanity observes from a distance. The identification of this portion of the brain, which I call the temporal discerners, proved to be the crucial breakthrough in my research. Any questions?
Ms. Gibbons, in your last paper, you stated that the temporal discernus is one of the last cortical structures to form.
Yes, at 7 months. Before the 7th month, the fetus lives in a timeless state, and what we might call the pretemporal lobe has yet to function.
This is crap! You're killing babies just to wring more funding out of this Frankenstein nonsense? What is she talking about?
Please, please, I promise you that no fetus has ever been aborted for the sake of this project.
Forced me to commit acts, vile acts against other human beings, because blood and life essence from a human being is power. They steal blood and life essence, especially from children, and consume it or store it away for power. They use child sacrifice and infant sacrifice to steal the life essence of those beings. And that life essence not only gives them power, but it powers temples, ley lines, rituals, and other things that they're working on. If you've heard of Cern, it's being powered by human life force that has been stolen.
What matters, and what you want to know, is whether I killed those men. Well, I did. I killed all 20 monsters, and because I did, 83 women are still alive.
You couldn't have. You were only 5 years old.
Time travel. A means by which to stop crime before it starts.
This is a really sick joke.
A fetus's pretemporal lobe can regulate an energy field. That field becomes a doorway to the past. You know why the NSA was so interested in me? Because I could have made my time machine work, even then. But I didn't want them to have it. Not before I had set things right. Days are like pearls, a string of pearls, each pearl an event. The past seems immutable, solid. But go back in time and you change one event and you liquefy every pearl that follows. You change the entire string.
This quote is from a respectable scientist, in fact, one of the founders of this field, that may look a little strange to you who don't follow theoretical physics, but there is a very clear prediction that our most successful theory of nature makes, and that is that there are an enormous number, mind-bogglingly large number, of parallel realities, as real as this one, that have different consistent histories. But science has reached the point now where we can build machines that exploit those other worlds. And quantum computers are perhaps the most exciting of all of these that we have within, or almost within, our grasp right now. So if you have the opportunity to stand next to one of these machines, it is an awe-inspiring thing, at least for me. It feels like an altar to an alien god.